Okay, in this video we're going to look at word problems leading to simultaneous equations. So normally in these word problems we're given information about two different numbers or two different variables, and we'll have to use the information in the question to write out our simultaneous equations. So I'm going to start with an easy one. If we look at question number 2 on page 225, so we have, if a father's age is added to his son's age, the sum is 70. So in that problem, we have to decide on our two variables. So say, for example, we have the letter F representing the father's age and the letter S representing the son's age. If the sum is 70, that means we are adding them together to get 70. So the important thing with these questions is to recognize the mathematical language here. So sum means we add them together, difference means we subtract them, product means we multiply, and quotient means we divide. So the next piece of information then, if twice the son's age is added to the father's age, the sum is 90. So that means we have 2 times by the son's age plus the father's age, and that now gives us 90. So once we have formed our two simultaneous equations, we can solve them as we have been doing before. We pick one of the letters to eliminate. Now in this scenario, it makes more sense to eliminate the F. So in order to eliminate the F, remember we have to satisfy two conditions. The number in front of the letter, the coefficient, has to be the same. So in this case it is, we have one F and one F. But also the second condition is that the signs must be different. So one must be plus and one must be minus. So I'm going to multiply that first equation, the whole equation, by -1. So F by -1 is minus F, S by -1 is minus S, 70 times by -1 is minus 70, and when we add our second equation to that, what we'll see will happen is that the plus F and minus F will eliminate each other. They're gone. 2S minus 1S is S, and 90 minus 70 is 20. So we can now say that the son's age is 20. And if we go back to the first equation here, where we know the father's age plus the son's age is 70, if we know the son's age is 20, when we transfer that across to the other side to leave the F by itself, that becomes 70 minus 20. So that means that the father's age is 50. And that's how we use the word, we try and break down the word problems to form our two equations and then solve them simultaneously. So let's look at a more difficult problem now. So we're going to work from the same exercise here. So it's page 225. And we're going to look at question number 5 this time. So Joanne bought some phone credit and a sandwich at a cost of €14. Alana bought the same amount of phone credit and 3 of the same sandwiches at a cost of €22. We want to find out how much did the phone credit cost and how much did the sandwich cost. So we have to decide on our two variables. So the cost of the phone credit, let's call that P, will be the first variable, and the cost of a sandwich, let's call that S, will be the second variable. Okay, so in the first piece of information it says Joanne bought some phone credit and a sandwich at a cost of €14. So she bought one lot of phone credit, one sandwich, and that cost her €14, and that's how we form our equation. Alana bought the same amount of phone credit, so she still bought P phone credit, but she bought 3 sandwiches at a cost of €22. So again, we have our two equations and we have to pick one letter to eliminate and take it from there. So again, the P makes the most sense to eliminate. You can eliminate either letter, but the P makes the most sense because the number in front of it satisfies one of the conditions. The number in front of the P is the same. So we're going to multiply this equation again by -1 because we need a plus P and a minus P to eliminate. P by -1 is minus P. S by -1 is minus S. 14 by -1 is minus 14. The second equation is not going to change. It stays the same. And when we add them now together, plus P and minus P will eliminate each other there. 3S minus 1S is 2S. 22 minus 14 is 8. And then we want to get a single S. So if 2 sandwiches cost €8, dividing across by 2, one sandwich costs €4. So we now know that a sandwich costs €4. So now let's go back and find out about the phone credit. We know that, and we can use either of the equations 1 or 2. So if we go back to equation number 1, we know that phone credit plus a sandwich costs €14. We know that the sandwich costs €4. So when we transfer that €4 across the other side to leave the p by itself, that becomes -4, and we are left with phone credit costing €10. And don't forget to use your euro sign in this question because that's the context of the question. All right. And let's look at one more example, and then I'll give you some questions to do in your assignment. Okay, so if we look at question number 7, so we have here 2 concert tickets plus the credit card charge costs €125. 5 of the same tickets plus the credit card charge costs €305. So let me see, actually no, we'll do question number 8, so we'll have different numbers in front of the variables. So we'll scratch that for a minute. So a shop sells 4 notebooks and 2 pens for €16. So according to that piece of information there, we have 4 notebooks and 2 pens, and that costs us €16. The same shop sells 3 identical notebooks and 5 pens, and that costs €19. So we want to find out how much does a pen cost and how much does a notebook cost. So again, we have to pick a variable. Now this one, either or. We can pick the n's or we can pick the p's. Remember, we have to satisfy the 2 conditions. So I'm going to pick to eliminate the p here. So we have to come up with a lowest common multiple of 2 and 5, because remember the coefficient has to match. So the lowest common multiple between 2 and 5 is 10. That means I need to turn the top number into a 10, so I multiply that by 5, and I turn the bottom number into a 10, so I multiply that by 2. The other condition is that one of them has to be a plus and one of them has to be a minus. So I'm going to multiply the bottom by -2 to make sure that that condition is satisfied. Now it doesn't matter which one you multiply by minus because your answer will be the same at the end. So 4n multiplied by 5 is 20n. 2p multiplied by 5 is 10p. 16 multiplied by 5 is 80. 3n multiplied by -2 is -6n. 5p multiplied by -2 is -10p. 19 multiplied by -2 is -38. So now we can see that the plus 10p and the minus 10p will eliminate each other there. 20n minus 6n will give us 14n, and 80 minus 38 gives us 42. To get the n by itself, we divide across by the 14, and 42 divided by 14 gives us 3. And again, we're talking about euros, so the notebook costs €3. To figure out the value of the pen, or the cost of the pen, we go back to either one of our first 2 equations here. So we'll look at the equation number 1 there. 4n plus 2p is equal to 16. We know that a notebook costs €3. That's 4 by 3 plus 2p is 16. 4 3s are 12. We're going to bring that 12 across because we want to isolate the p. So 2p is equal to 16 minus 12. So 16 minus 12 is 4. And then dividing across, 4 divided by 2, that gives us a pen cost of €2. Now, if we were asked to verify that, all right, so we know that our notebook costs €3. I'm just going to write that here. And our pen costs €2. If we were asked to verify that using our equations, we can't pick the equation that we use to find our information. We have to pick the other one. So let's check it using the other one. 3n plus 5p is equal to 19. We're going to replace the n with a 3, so that's 3 times by 3 plus 5 times by the cost of the pen, which is 2. 3 times by 3 is 9. 5 times by 2 is 10. 9 plus 10 is 19. So we get 19 on both sides of the equal sign, which means they are verified. All right, so based on this video now, I'm going to give you an exercise on page 225 and 226 to do for homework. Thank you.